Hi there, this is Lee. And I'm doing an update on the Dakota Access Pipeline. There are more people reporting on site of the Dakota Access Pipeline. Most of them are citizen journalists. They are journalists from progressive publications online, like Unicorn Riot, Jordan Chariton from the Young Turks, Democracy Now!, other organizations such as this. Unfortunately, none of our mainstream media organizations have found this worthy of taking a vested interest in sending reporters out to investigate and document and witness according to their media ethics or media standards. They have chosen not to. And so it is the protesters themselves who have become the journalists, chronicling the events at the Dakota Access Pipeline at Standing Rock, the efforts to protect the water source for 18 million people downstream from Sioux Nation in cities such as Sioux City, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, Kansas City, Kansas, St. Louis, Missouri, and on down the Mississippi after the Missouri River joins the Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee, New Orleans, Louisiana. The toxic sludge that may and likely will emanate from any oil pipeline built into the Missouri River will flow first past Sioux Nation, and then it hits these cities on a red state path line down to the Gulf of Mexico. And so it affects millions of us, not just the Sioux Nation, but people downstream. And we know this because Bismarck, North Dakota, um, made efforts to request that that pipeline not run through the city's water source. They moved it downstream, and so everyone else besides Bismarck gets affected. This is how Bismarck decided to treat Sioux City, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, Kansas City, Kansas. That's what's happening. We have an escalation of violence and still an escalation of mainstream media silence in the face of that violence. We've got protesters who've had severe injuries. We've had direct violence directed towards medical personnel, towards journalists, towards human rights observers from Amnesty International, the UN. We've got people on the ground who are also being assaulted, besides Sioux Nation themselves, who have been in this fight for years now against the Dakota Access Pipeline under the leadership of Dave Archambault. We have a Democratic president in Barack Obama who swaggers and wags his finger back and forth at people, reprimanding them on protecting his legacy. But the thing is, Barack Obama is not even making an effort to protect his own legacy himself. Rather than protect the people of the United States, the citizens, the indigenous, the vulnerable among us, the basic right to clean water for life, Barack Obama has chosen to protect his trade deals, such as the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TTIP, TISA, etc. And so now those legacies have been taken away from him. Donald Trump has apparently won the election, although there's still questions. But the trade deals are off the table. So what does that do to Barack Obama's legacy? What is his legacy now? Dakota Access Pipeline. That's Barack Obama's legacy. And rather than swagger back and forth and wag his finger, I'm surprised that he doesn't stagger underneath the weight of the shame of his lack of leadership in decision making, compassion, empathy for the people of the United States. Again, these are 18 million people who are at risk of having their water contaminated. And we have a president who has faced this with silence and indifference. That is Barack Obama's legacy. Give him a hand clap. Well done. So we have the potential for more violence directed at these people, more silence from people who actually have the power to make it stop, to declare Dakota Access Pipeline a national monument, to send the National Guard in to actually protect the people instead of oil, people, planet, and peace over profit. So, this again, this is Barack Obama's legacy. We have entire Congress full of politicians who said not much of anything, who've not made any effort to get on the ground, except Tulsi Gabbard has indicated that she plans to join with other veterans to protect the water protectors, to provide a buffer or a shield from violence. There are veterans headed towards the pipeline on December 4th, and Tulsi Gabbard, representative from the state of Hawaii, will be among them. So I say well done on Tulsi Gabbard. That's leadership. And, we have Donald Trump, and I don't know if people have called on Donald Trump to address this, but soon it's going to become his legacy. It won't just be Barack Obama's, it will become Donald Trump. And Donald Trump likely does have the power to make things happen. He's made things stop in terms of stopping escalation of war with Russia that was actually being promoted by certain parts of our political elite. Donald Trump has taken that off the table. Apparently, we will not be at war with Russia over Syria. We also have Trans-Pacific Partnership removed from consideration, TTIP, Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, and we have TISA, the Trade and Services Agreement, which would be the privatization of public goods among multiple nations. We have that on shaky ground as well. And so there is power by Barack Obama, who currently holds office, to make this stop. We have a Donald Trump, incoming president, with a lot of influence and the ability to affect public policy even before he takes office to make the stop. Neither of them have made efforts to do that. In fact, there's apparently evidence that Donald Trump is invested in the pipeline, and that Mike Pence has actually sent police force from Indiana to support the violence against the protectors at Standing Rock. So, and then we have silence from Hillary Clinton. And so, people are talking about, well, maybe we should overturn the Electoral College to Hillary Clinton. And I'm saying this pipeline was constructed and is being constructed and violently protected under a sitting Democratic president who knows what's happening, who has been asked and requested to make it stop, and who has replied with indifference. And then we have a potential Democratic candidate who wants to be president, or I don't know what she wants anymore, but who has remained silent in the face of multiple requests for her assistance. And so, are we even better off on the Democratic Party, in terms of this pipeline? We have Donald Trump, who's not really commented, but his VP has supported the pipeline. And so, politics aside, there are people's lives on the line. The injuries are becoming more severe. There's been spraying of water cannons in sub-zero freezing weather in the Dakotas, hypothermia, lives are being put at risk, bodily injuries by rubber bullets, mace, pepper spray, sound cannons, water cannons, flashbangs, I don't know, lots of things are happening. It's become a war zone. There's barbed wire everywhere. It's almost like a war being waged by our own domestic police force against citizens of this nation on the direction of a corporation. And it's frightening and it's very ugly. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, the veterans get there in time to actually prevent the pipeline from being completed and to prevent any more injuries from being had by the protesters and the protectors. There are more people arriving to document, to do what the mainstream media has chosen not to do, and that's bear witness to history being made within our own borders. Good luck.